that you're set, and if you think you can go ahead and do it and start putting your sources into Noodletools, you all who have done it are free to do that. Okay? Those of you who have not, I will work you through that. So, for those of you who have done it, how do you get onto Noodletools? Noodletools.com. And it says that on your sheet. So everybody get in there. Now you're going to have to be toggling back and forth between your research. So bring up one of your articles or your URL. We're going to have to toggle in between Noodletools and research. Everybody bring Noodletools up. I'll give everybody a minute. And I'll bring it up on my computer as well. Hopefully the computers are faster today. Maybe? Maybe?
Mine's still loading.
Yeah. We'll give them all a sec. I will wait for everybody to get loaded today so we don't get lost. While we are waiting, okay, just a little bit of comments or whatever from yesterday. Did any of you have a chance to go through and maybe read any of your research? Anybody? Okay. So is this going to take like an hour of research for you guys? I think that you are going to be probably more into possibly hours, 5 to 10 to 15 hours of research. Time to read, find the articles, read. Okay? Now remember what I said was the most important on this topic? Is it the small little detail things, or what do you need to do?
The
Overall background stuff about the countries and security sector reform are the most important. Okay, so as Noodletools come up, and believe it or not, I have a lot of accounts. My kids in college even have used our Noodletools account. The suggestion from Mrs. Weiss, once you pick a username and a password, is to make sure you will remember it, because you can use this throughout all of high school. You can use it into college. I had John Kelleher email me this summer, and he wanted to get into his Noodletools account. So we're here into Noodletools. Everybody see that? Right? Okay, so now we need to sign in. So go up to sign in. Now, I already have a username and a password. If you have not, you need to go to create a personal ID. If for all of you who went with Mrs. Weiss and know that, go ahead and sign in. And I actually can't believe that I would still know my username and password, because I created this a long time ago. So go ahead and create an ID. Now, so those of you, you have to fill in that information, and it will ask you for the school. It's tied to a school. And the school, our school name and password is Washakie 1, and that's actually on your paper. If you forget and you can't get in, it's tied to Washakie 1 and Washakie. Would you guys like me to go through that create an ID? Okay. So I will go back out. As you can tell, I have quite a bit on here. Sign up. So go to create a personal ID. You are an account linked to the school library subscription or trial. So make sure that little thing is that very first one, and then click register. Everybody with me? Are you all logged in? So click register. Now your school library username and password, and that's on your paper, is what I wrote up there. Washakie 1, and it's all one word, and Washakie. Now for those of you who are already in, are you guys all in who have been in there before? You need to actually create a new project. You need to pick MLA 7th edition advanced, which I think is what you did for Mrs. Weiss. Oh, you did. So you need to do MLA 7th, and thank you so much. Yes, science usually uses APA format. English, social studies, usually MLA. And even when you get to college, that's usually how it will go. The teacher will specify. So make sure you pick MLA 7th advanced. Okay, for the rest of you. Now, school library username and password. So Washakie 1. Make sure it's spelled correct, and Washakie. Sign in. Now, it will ask your school location. And yes, you are a student or a library patron. I'm not a student, but anyway, pick Worland High School. Okay, everybody with me? So pick Worland High School. Put a personal ID, password, and then retype your password. Are you with me, Shania? Okay. And then your initials. And keep on going down. You want to put your initials. So I did I think I did VFO for my initials, either VO or VFO. And then your last 4 digits of your telephone number. And then click register. Write down your usernames and passwords on your piece of paper, because you do not want to forget that. Okay, so whatever you've put for username and password, write those down on your piece of paper. So you do not forget, or else you'll be locked out of your account. Okay, now all of you back there, are you guys doing all right with create a project? So you can put National Peace Essay. You can title it whatever you want. Iran, Iraq, National Peace Essay, or whatever. And then you want to go ahead and get a citation, and then also get a tab for a citation and get your tab for Noodletools. And then you're going to go to create. Now, are you guys all registered then? Yes?
What do we do for citation level?
I will show you. Okay? So now, did you go ahead and register? So I'm going to sign in. Now you're going to, all of you up here in the front, are going to want to go ahead and create a project. You see where that's at? So up over here on the right-hand corner, create a new project. See that? And click MLA, citation style, and go down to advanced. Everybody got that? Description of your thing. Kind of continue down past advanced. So National Peace Essay. Or whatever. 2013. You might want to do 2013 because if you're in Dr. McGee's class next year, you'll be doing this again. So then you'll know it was 2013. And then create project. Everybody with me? Anybody having any questions? Arrow down from there, and what we're going to start doing is works cited. Over to the left, where it says in yellow, arrow down, do works cited. And this is where we're going to start putting in our information. Okay, the hardest part of Noodletools And say if you're just doing, like even for science, you're just doing your, like your works cited page at the very end, and you're doing a PowerPoint or whatever, you don't necessarily at that point in time have to put your stuff into Noodletools, because you can copy and paste those citations and put them in alphabetical order for like a works cited page. You guys, though, doing the National Peace Essay, your bibliography page has to be perfect. And so that is why we are using Noodletools, is to make a perfect bibliography page. You put in all that information, and it puts it all in alphabetical order, makes your periods, your spaces, and believe it or not, I used to have to do this all by myself, following the format. So you guys all have it so much easier than like in my day, because we would have to type it and put everything in, whereas if you enter all that information, it makes your citation for you, and it keeps it all, keeps it. So say if you get 5 done today, you get 2 or 3 done tomorrow, 10 another day or whatever. It keeps all of that under that project. Then at the very end, you export it to Word, and then it puts it all in good order, and then you print it out. Does that make sense? Okay. So, now, this is how we do the citation. If you guys are needing help, all of you who aren't all sure, the hardest part is select a citation type. Okay? So I'm going to log into the global issues. I'm going to create a new tab here. And I'm going to go to gowow.net. And I'm going to start with that very general one that I thought everybody probably should use as part of their bibliography and read. Where do I go to from here?
Student research.
Student research. Good. And then we go down to global issues in context. Now you can use other databases as well, which you probably got some other citations. So once I let you go, you can use whatever ones you want. Now, the critical thing of this, and this is taking a little bit to load, is that you pay attention to what type of document you have, because that's where you pick it on the select the citation type. So if it's a magazine, you have to pick magazine. If it's a journal, you have to pick journal.
And this is article? Is it magazine?
If it's an article, it's a magazine. If it's a newspaper, you have to pick newspaper. This is being really slow. Are you guys all trying to get into Go Wild? Or Gail? It was slow yesterday. Come on. Try it again.
No idea.
Did it go faster with you guys doing that? Sometimes I think that's slower, but it did work for you yesterday, Dalen? In the search box? Okay. So, security sector reform. So a lot of times in those databases, if it says article, like Sarah was saying, it is. You know, sometimes they have those, like in eLibrary, it'll show you. Is it a newspaper? Is it a magazine or a book? And it has all those different icons that show the different types of sources. Oh my gosh. Come on. Maybe we'll get one. I'll give it a couple more minutes, and if not, we'll go to a different one. We'll use one of the other databases. Maybe this one's just busy. There we go. I think it's good. Okay, so if you use the very first one up here, it comes from what? What's that source? Can anybody read that?
New York Times.
New York Times. So what would New York Times be? A newspaper is what that would be. Yeah. It says over there, New York Times opinion and editorial. I am going to use down here, and these news are what? The news right here are taken from what? Probably newspapers. Those are newspapers. Shania, are you paying attention, Girlie?
Yeah.
Okay. Academic journals are down from there, and there's the reference. So I'm going to go into this, the role and place of the police in security sector reform. So that's the one that I'm going to use. Can you tell what this might be? It says World Encyclopedia of Police Forces and Correctional Systems, Volume 1. What would you guess that would be? It's actually an encyclopedia because of a Volume 1. If it doesn't have volumes, it's probably just a book. So now let's go to Noodletools and keep that on here, and I'll go back to Noodletools. I do select a citation type, and I will arrow down to reference source because it's an encyclopedia. So click that. And then click create citation. Just where you arrow down from here and click reference source. And then create citation. Okay, and then continue. And it says, if your source is not a reference source, it might be a book, but it is a reference source. So just continue.
Which one? Which two continues?
Either one will work. Okay, and it's taken from a database. So click on database. You know, this is different than what I did today. This is weird. But click on database. Okay, let me just see. I'm going to arrow down through here. Okay, so now you're going to go from the article and you're going to find the author, which they always give you at the very end. All that citation information is the very, very bottom. So there's your author, and you're going to copy and paste. So copy it, go back to Noodletools, and I'm going to paste it, but I'm going to have to separate the first and last name. So I'm going to leave George, but I'm going to cut his last name and paste his last name there. And there you go. So that is our author. Everybody with me? Yeah, Dalen.
Well, let me start citation.
Did you click on citation?
Yeah.
And then go to the next thing, and then you're going to click on the title of the article. So go
I just said the webpage
reference.
expired.
You're not done. Or are you doing it now?
It's just that on you.
Oh. So that
It's just a article. Are we sure it's an article?
So if you're doing a journal, you have to click journal and then continue. And yes.
It says that it is an article.
Okay?
My page
That it is not an article?
That it is an article.
Okay.
But it also says document, and it won't tell me who wrote it.
And then you go down to the very bottom of all those articles on the databases. It's down at the very bottom, and pretty much in that order is how you will be copying it and pasting into your citation.
Just the bottom of the database in general? It just closed on me unexpectedly.
So do your article author title, copy and paste. Then it will last for like pages, and then it will last for years. So you will continue to go into everything that you can. Okay, now you click database, and you don't click a database. You have to click a type of an article. So what is yours taken? Where's your article?
It's at the end, you know,
Yeah, I don't think
So show me.
oh, he's like, George.
Context.
Go up a little bit, because that's just the URL. You have to actually click into it. You guys, if you have your URL saved, you have got to actually click into the article in order to get that bibliographic information that you need for Noodletools. Yeah. Right. So you need to copy and paste.
So what do I do now?
Go out.
Yep.
And there's a tunnel there. So you need it to say that. Okay, guys, you have to get everything correctly. If your thing is a reference book, it has volumes, it says encyclopedia, it's from the title, you have to get the clues of what it is. You have to say reference source because it will not ask you for everything if you have a book and you're trying to cite a reference source. Sarah?
So it's not loaded and such.
Okay.
I'm a bit confused.
So did you get into your article?
Yeah. It says article. So I took it.
So you have no author, so you go down to the next one.
If you have no author, there is no author at the beginning, go to the next thing and go to article title. And you will notice that once you get all your citation done, go through the spell check thing and let it make corrections because it will correct the different things that you will need to correct. So down at the bottom, make sure before you do create a citation, you do the corrections. Okay, what?
Well, it's, I'm kind of confused because this is a little bit different than what I was doing today. So finish all this stuff. And then I think we're going to have to, because you have to cite your database. So like, see what it says down here? So go ahead and finish all this, and then I think it may go to the database and fill that.
Anybody else? So start filling all that information in.
Wait, so what is this?
What about it? It's like,
I don't understand.
just pick things up.
I am going.
Who else could try?
There's more drama on the bed. I'm an argument person. That's very hard. Mackenzie! See, I might do costumes. I forgot.
You said, oh, this is what, that's your title, so this is going to be that, so choose extended. And then that's your.